Basically, my life started with a mom and dad who loved each other. And at one point in time, mom realized that dad wasn't everything he presented himself to be. My dad was not true to my mom. About 2.5, 3 years old, my mom divorced my father. When I was 7, she remarried. And for the next 3 years, I went through a lot of child abuse. Just about everything you can imagine. And it was not a very good event in my life. Around that time, I'd been threatened that if I said anything or spoke out, that both my brother and my mother would be killed. So I felt some kind of duty to remain silent and to just kind of soldier on through it. But at the age of 10, I couldn't take it anymore. I spoke out. It all made sense at that moment to my mom, because she realized I went from being the apple of all the teachers' eyes to being this vexing problem in every class. And it dawned on her what the problem was. My stepfather was put in jail, and at the age of 10, I started a long, messed up journey. My mom made sure that I had as many touches with the Bible and biblical people in my life, and it's exactly what I needed, because during that middle school time frame was probably the roughest part of my life. Even I thought it was rough with the child abuse, but when all that was gone and it's just me left alone, middle school was the roughest time of my life. So the summer of between my 5th and 6th grade year, when I was liberated from the child abuse, but going through all this horrible abuse, I got a library card, and I went to the library and I got a book on jokes. And every morning I would look at myself from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet, and I would insult myself in the mirror. Start at the top, work my way down, and go back up. And that's how I would prepare for school. And I was prepared, if anybody gave me any gruff, I was going to give it 10 times worse. And that was my middle school life. I was just prepared for war. And it's around that time that I had all these amazing men of God that saw my pain and stepped in and tried to soldier their way through it. They had love in their heart. They would show it to me. I didn't recognize it at the time. Much later, I realized they were filling in where my father was just totally absent. Still, however, even with all the biblical things that I went through, all the different people that poured in my life, I had free will. And so at the age of 17, I'd already gone to Miami with some friends and started introducing myself to marijuana and different things like that. Went to Night of Joy and LSD, and then from the time I graduated for the next couple years, I was I was like the Autobahn, going as fast as I could after this lifestyle that I've been raised all my life was not pleasing to God. There was one night when I was at a special club that you could only get into if you knew the right people, and since I was supplying everybody their party favors, I was allowed in, and I just walked out from that club in Ybor City and walked around a very dangerous part of town, just not satisfied with what I had accomplished. I felt like Solomon, vanity of vanities. It's all for nothing. And as I was walking around, I remembered it was just like what I had read about how Jesus, after when he was raised from the dead, came along and talked to these two guys who were walking along the road. And he just totally laid out for me how I was never alone this entire time, how he was with me every step of the way. Everything I'd ever learned in the Bible, he laid it out for me. He explained it, and just ultimately was saying to me, are you done? Have you had enough? I've let you chase down this road, and I'm giving you another opportunity. Is this where you want to be? And that was the night I just totally embraced God. I'd been saved ever since I was 5 and raised in the faith, but that's when I totally embraced it. During that time frame, I met my wife. She was willing to overlook all my past problems, and she accepted me for who I was. Came up here to Tennessee with our 3 children after working at Walt Disney World. I was traveling down this path. I was right with God. I had everything going well, but I fell into another trap, which was to pursue after, what the world would call success. So I felt like I had another moment this time with God, but this time it was through my wife. Had to make a tough decision, and we left it all. Came up here to Knoxville, Tennessee. During that time, we got involved with a ton of different awesome ministries. But when I saw YOKE, that's when I became really intrigued, because it's a ministry that speaks to that time frame in my life that was the roughest. It's a different way of delivering the same thing that God was giving me through different means. Godly men and women that are pursuing after, coming alongside of children, yoking with them, partnering up with them, taking some of their burden with them, and walking alongside of them. And immediately, when I was approached by Leah Carter to do this, it sounds great. What's it called? What is YOKE? I don't even know what this is. And she explained to me, it's like, this is awesome. This is perfect. And through the partnering that we did through First Baptist Concord, the partnering that we've done with Farragut, all the support we've got from YOKE, we have a very small fledgling start off at Farragut, and it's fantastic.
Middle school can be a difficult time for kids in that transition time as they're going from elementary to high school. And YOKE's just been something where everybody's welcome.
I love when we always get to do Truck and Crush, and also when we do really fun games.
But probably the most important part was making friends and being with them every Tuesday.
There are times with YOKE where you feel, well, it's only an hour a week you get with these kids. Well, it's only this much you get with them. And the ability to touch their life when the cement is still wet, before it hardens, you're able to put a little bit of God inside that cement and write his initials on there. It doesn't take that many fingers to do it. So the opportunity to be a part of doing that is just fantastic.
He's been a really good guy to me, considering that I've grown up in a single-parent home. I've not had a guy or mentor for my life, so having James is pretty important.
James is just a great guy, very, very committed to kids, both the YOKE kids, his own kids, and kids in general. He's very active with young people and youth. And I've had interactions with him as a parent and as the YOKE sponsor, and has just been great. Very, very solid individual that has his heart in the right place for kids.
When I go to YOKE, I'm just like, redeem myself. And then I go back to school and I'm like, okay, today's a new day. Like, I'm good now.
But it's an immediate understanding when they come to YOKE that it's a family thing.